left the school I was working in. I was a deputy head teacher. Yes, here is where you clap for me. Now, I would not be here if it was not for this person. And I'm glad that this person is here and is here with his spouse, because they have literally walked with me, and I cannot think of anybody better to open this session. Anybody better. Like, this for me is a tribute and gratitude to the person that has made me who I am today professionally. So I humbly want to ask you to put your hands together and welcome. You keep saying, put your hands together. Rub them. Appreciate. Clap for the CEO of Braeburn, Tanzania, Mr. Wallen Nyamota. Mr. Nyamota, please stand.
I didn't deserve all those because I don't believe that I am that kind of person. Good morning.
Good morning.
As you sit here looking at me expecting something wonderful from this person standing here, let me say something from the beginning. I don't come to you as a lawyer, because I'm not. I'm not a psychologist, as most of you may think, because you're talking about safeguarding of what? Children. I'm not a police officer to protect these children. I come as a school leader. I come to someone who has spent my entire career in the classroom. I've spent time in the staff rooms. I've spent time in the dormitories, because I've been there, and the boardrooms where most decisions are made. And now I carry responsibility across East Africa, where I manage schools across Tanzania as the CEO of that country. My journey, I don't talk about my CV because it's a long one. From where I started, I don't talk about it today, but if you want it to come down, we'll talk. But I come here as one of the people this workshop is supposed to be addressing. I'm not above the address you're going to get here today. Let's start with something here. I want you to picture a child. Most of us are teachers. Not a statistic, a child. Not a case file. A what? A child. One child. This child sits in the third row in a classroom, near the window. Our uniform is slightly too big, because it was, mom bought it for you to last. Yeah? Our homework is always neat and done. She's never late for lessons, never late for class. That's the child I want you to picture. She's never loud. She's never a problematic child. She doesn't cause any problems in school. On her report card, you've written a phrase, a pleasure to do what? To teach. You come across that phrase, a pleasure to do what? To teach. Sadly, nobody knows in that institution, in that class, that this child has learned over many years and over many months that the safest thing a person can do is to be invisible. Don't be what? Invisible. Don't be visible, you're invisible. We all thought that kind of child, am I right? Yes. Some of us in this cathedral this morning have been that child. Let's not hide it. You've been that what? Child. Here's the other sentence I would say to you today. In most schools in this country, including the best schools you can think of, expensive schools, church schools, with some schools with the excellent examination results, immaculate compounds, you go there, you walk as if you're walking some state house somewhere around this country. That child could still be invisible this morning. That child in the third what? The third room. Not because we are cruel, it's because we are very busy. Our systems are built to notice the child who shouts. All right? We have designed our institutions to detect disruption. Those kids who are very disruptive to kids, we do what? We notice. Abuse rarely presents itself in disruption, and I want to get this from this morning. Abuse does not present itself in what? As a disruption. Now, safeguarding. Now let me tell you what I'm doing here for the next 25 minutes. I'm not a long speaker, so that you know. I'm not here to make you feel guilty. I'm here to make you feel responsible. Responsibility looks forward and it builds. And that's what we want to look for today, and build that responsibility among us. Everything I said this morning is meant to leave you with something you can do on Monday when you go back to class, if there's school on Monday. Unfortunately, it's closed, but when you open schools, you can go do something in your school when schools do what? Open. We have two words in this sector. I thought they were same word, but I want to tell you this morning, they are not. In a very brief session, they are not two words. One word is what you call child protection. It's something we talk about, child protection, child protection. Esther comes here, says safeguarding, safeguarding, you know what I mean, yeah? But some of us don't understand the difference between the two words. Very important words. Take the two words with you today. Child protection, as we go along, and we're going to go to your breakout rooms to discuss about these things more. Child protection is what we do when a child has been harmed already. It's that what we do when a child has done what? Been harmed. It's after, it's investigation, it's a referral, it's prosecution, it's therapy, it's rescue. You see what I mean? It's essential, but it's entirely reactive. Number two, safeguarding. So that you can be able to understand as we move along when you use these words, safeguarding and what? Child protection. Safeguarding is everything we do so that that child is not harmed in the first place. What we do for that child not to be harmed in the first what? The first place. It's a culture. It's recruitment. It's supervision of the adults around that child. It's the ordinary conduct of the adults around the child each and every what? Every day. I can use these words. Child protection is an ambulance parked at the bottom of a cliff. Get me this analogy. An ambulance parked at the bottom of the what? A cliff. Safeguarding is the fence at the top of that cliff. Understand me? It's a fence. And more better, I wish if this fence, not even the fence, the root was rooted far away from the cliff, is what we do. So, Kenya has every invested in the ambulance. We have invested very little in the fence. That you put a fence to protect a what? To safeguard a child. What we are doing is we're waiting at the cliff with an ambulance to rush this child to the what? The hospital. When already it's a broken neck, it's a broken heart. Something has gone wrong. We do more child protection in this country, and I want to say to whoever system, to whoever government wants to listen, we need to think on how we can fix the fence and not the what? We fix the fence and not bring the ambulance at the, below the what? The cliff. Wow, what we do best. The gate, another analogy. I'm going to be very brief. The gate. Walk into almost any school in this country and you'll find we invest in gates. Let's be honest. Have you seen those gates? Yes. Any serious institution in this school, you don't even think of a dormitory. What you think is a what? A gate. There's a guard in uniform. Are we together? There's a visitor's what? Book as you go in. There's a perimeter wall. Increasing that we have CCTV cameras. Every shading in that expenditure faces outward. Any expenditure, you can see the number of money, amount of money we spend in putting that gate. All of it is designed to stop a stranger from accessing the what? The school. Now consider the uncomfortable piece of arithmetic here. In nearly every case of harm to a child inside a school in Kenya and everywhere in the world today, the person who caused that harm walked through the gate lawfully. They signed the book, they wore the what? The badge. This is very common in schools. Have you seen that? That safeguarding, you must wear what? My dear friend, let me put my badge here. They had a contract, they had a pay slip, they had a role in school. Many of them enjoyed our trust. They enjoyed our respect. And some cases, our public commendation. Our security faces the wrong direction, sadly. A policy we have. Hey, another thing. I'm moving from the fence. I hope you're getting me. I've moved from the fence and the what? And the ambulance. Now I've come to the what? To the gate. Now come to the most interesting part of it, a policy. I've read many excellent policies of what you call child protection and safeguarding policies in schools. I've read belong to institutions where children are not safe, but have the best in terms of what? Policies. So let us be planned about what a policy in drawers protects. What does it protect in those drawers? What does it protect when that policy is on the website? It protects the institution's legal position. It does not protect the child's body. And it's the truth. Safeguarding should be a culture. And a culture simply what people do when the CEO is not in the building. I don't have to be there for you to do the right thing. You have a safeguarding culture when these things happen. And I name them quickly. One, you have a safeguarding culture. Because we talk about culture here. You have a safeguarding culture when these things are through. One, every child in that site knows what to look for and who to look for. If every child in the compound knows what to look for and who to look for, that's when we talk about a culture. Every child knows precisely what to do when they see it. Not roughly, precisely. Not a child knows roughly. The child must be taught to precisely know what to do what to do when they see something happening. Every child can name at least 3 adults they could go to and genuinely believe the child can be believed. They come tell you they don't believe you believe in them. Concerns in a school, concerns are raised earlier and small, rather than late and catastrophic. And lastly, and nobody, and I repeat this, and nobody is too senior, too popular, too long-serving to not to be questioned. And I realize that most people who have stayed in places for too long, they never get what? Questions. Let me now put evidence in front of you because the case of urgency should rest on not my rhetoric this morning. It's just on Kenya's own numbers gathered by Kenya's own institutions this morning. And I want to give you something, a very snippet, if you can read this. In 2019, Violence Against Child survey conducted by the government of Kenya through the Department of Child, Children Services and together with the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, across all 47 counties found the following: 46% of young women, 52% of young men. You thought only girls are in danger. But look at these figures: 46% of young what? Women, and 52% of young what? Men, aged between 18 and the age of 24 when the survey was done, experienced at least one form of violence, either physical, emotional, or sexual during their childhood. Physical violence was the most common when the survey was done in 2019. Nearly 1 in 6 of young women experienced sexual violence in their childhood. And our national figures, and I want to point it here today, 1 of the 3 of you, one among a thing. Just look at the left. When you are sitting in the middle, look at the left and look at the what? Right. How many are you? 3. Count. Carries something from childhood that you may never have spoken about. You must have been carrying some from what? childhood, and you not talk about it. I don't know, because there was nobody to talk to. There was no Esther, there was no safeguarding officer to do what? To talk to. And if that is you, I want to speak to you directly in this room. It's a safe place today, and you are not alone in it. Some of us are struggling. My wife can tell you, some of us are doing what? Struggling. Child violence calls for a deliberate action. Child violence in this country requires a deliberate what? Action. Now let me put you closer home into the building the buildings, the institution where ourselves run. In December last year, the National Agenda, giving figures quickly, and the Equality Commission published its assessment against learners. Its findings should have dominated the news for a week, but they did not. They got the figures, put them in the what? The drawer. They never mentioned. And I speak to whoever wants to listen. 66% of the schools surveyed in Nairobi County reported at least one form of learner violence. 67% of schools surveyed. The proportion of any country assessed or county assessed. In Nairobi, physical violence stands at 55% of the learners, sexual violence at 44.4%. In Nairobi what? County. Those the kids, those come from Nairobi, those are the children you do what? You teach. We are sitting this morning in the county with the highest recorded rate of violence against learners in Kenya. Between 2019 and 2024, the Teacher Service Commission, TSC, removed 470 teachers from the register for professional misconduct. Since 2024 January, the Commission has handled over 144 or 111 cases involving learners, allegations, sexual harassment, and everything else. I say this as a school leader to the school leaders, and I want to be very careful about it this morning. The overwhelming majority of our Kenyan teachers are doing a fantastic job, but doing it under very difficult circumstances, underpaid, undervalued work. And many of them are the only reliable adults in the room where those kids are struggling. I know this because I've worked beside them for the entire career, those teachers in this country who go out of their way to sacrifice and support the children. But a profession that will not name its predators ends up protecting them. A profession which doesn't do what? Name the what? The predators. You end up doing what? Protecting them. And every good teacher tainted by general suspicion has been failed, not by the accusers, but the colleagues who stayed silent about the ones who were guilty. We know our staff rooms, how people do, but you do what? You dare not do what? Say something against your what? Your colleagues. So you are equally what? Guilty. You can be a data protection person, you can be wherever, you are equally what? Guilty, because you are protecting not the child, the what? The offender, and you know them in your staff rooms. You know that watchman mom. You know that driver. But you dare not. During your breakout session, don't talk about this. You properly through some categories of abuse, so I would be brief on this. I want to make 3 points about the types of abuse we talk about. Some of them, you know, it's physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional or psychological abuse, and neglect. You can name them later on during your breakout sessions. To those, our context adds harmful traditional practices, something we call genital or female genital what? Child marriages, child labor. You know, you can only think that you're in school, but child labor is prevalent out there. And the fast growing category of all is online exploitation. Let me talk about this. We are looking for the wrong evidence. That's what I want to say. We have trained our eyes to find bruises. Are we together? But two most widespread forms of abuse leave no mark whatsoever. There's no physical what? Mark. A child who's fed up, a child who is fed well, but never spoken to. Well taken care of from an affluent family, but never spoken to. A child who is told in 1,000 small daily ways that they are a burden by their own parents, that you are a what? A burden. You are a disappointment. You are a mistake. Emotional violence produces no injury, but it produces a lot of pain. Neglect is quieter still. Globally, the most common form of child mistreatment, and is one of the one we rarely talk about, report, because it looks like poverty. And we have quietly decided that poverty is somebody else's department. It becomes our department the moment a child is what? Unsafe. Sexual and physical violence in children experience is inflicted by other children. I want you to also take this home. You might be looking for adults, but abuse is happening amongst the what? The children themselves. Bullying, sexual coercion between learners, dormitory hierarchies. You know, those are those ones who come from schools. When label this as indiscipline and send it to the deputy head teacher, very quick. In discipline, take to the what? The deputy head teacher. Hey, what happens? We call it indiscipline. A child who was armed receives a disciplinary outcome instead of protection. You need to differentiate between a child who is going through something and in discipline. I hope, Esther, you went to some of these things that will be addressed today. Is it quite defended in the South with this kind of person? Corporal punishment. Guys, teachers from our schools, we cannot build a safeguarding culture in the classroom while defending a cane in the corridors. Kindly, the two are not compatible. Corporal punishment in this country, we must say it's a what? It's a no. Take it from me. I wish I was that person making this happen. Corporal punishment is a what? A no. The front we are currently losing, as I want to finish, if everything I've described so far is the problem we inherited, what follows is the problem we are losing in real time. One, what evidence shows, Kenya is the first country in the world studied under disrupting arm, what you call disrupting arm. Here is what is found about the Kenyan children. One, children aged 12 to 17 are internet users who have experienced online sexual exploitation or abuse. Between the age of 12 and what? 17. The number of gadgets in our children's hand between that age is massive. They own phones more than even the what? The adults. Some have been offered money or gifts in exchange of what? Sexual images or videos themselves. Not physical sex, but sexual what? Images. They have been asked online and are quickly taking selfies and do what? Sending out. Others have been threatened or blackmailed in sexual activity online. More worse, others have their sexual images shared without their permission. Worse still, they send personal information to somebody they had never met. 66% had never been taught how to stay safe online. A work for you to do. How do we teach our children to stay what? Safe online. We have sent our children to a country where we never visited, without a map, and told them to call when there is trouble or when they're in trouble. Where we sent them through, giving them the best of it. A country far off, in a what? In a phone. I must add the newest frontier of this child protection and safeguarding, because it's moving considerably faster than we had. I can now generate sexual imagery of a child who does not exist. The image of a child doesn't do what? And far more disturbingly, of a child who does not form an ordinary photograph taken. All this photograph is taken from the photo you took in your marketing things in school. During school prize presentation, a photo is done what? Because they gave you a what? they give you some consent to use their what? Their photos. And posted on a school page. We need to have what you call the AI bill. Kenya has an AI bill. Did you know that? It has an AI bill before the Senate right now. It was introduced in April this year. In May, Amnesty International Kenya, a partner for this very workshop we are in today, together with the Watoto Watch Network, submitted a memorandum making a simple and devastating observation. The bill as drafted does not define a child anywhere in that bill. It's an AI bill, very good, but does not define a what? A child. There's nowhere in that bill where a child is. I wish there was a senator in here. This is not a technical oversight. That is a generation-defining gap. And that is still open as I speak to you this morning. That has not defined who a child is in the AI what? Artificial intelligence bill before the Senate today. My dear friends, you talk about this, I know, disclosure, the 5 minutes which decides everything for a child who is struggling. Let me come to a moment on which all of this turns to. It did not happen in a workshop. It did not happen on an ordinary Tuesday in a corridor when you are late for something. Children almost never disclose the way adults imagine. You need to know. There are no formal statements. What we get is oblique, is tested, and extremely is to miss. Can I tell you something? But you mustn't tell anyone. Have you heard that statement? What could happen if somebody did something bad to a person? At that statement, a child telling you, what could happen if somebody did something bad to a what? Another person. I have a story about my friend. Have you heard such kind of statements? Yes. A drawing. Some of them expressed through what? Drawings. You've seen in your maths book, very nice what? Drawing. You say this guy doesn't want maths because there's a drawing in the what? In the maths exercise book. In your English literature, instead of writing a what? Instead of writing some composition, they're expressing themselves by doing what? Drawing something, and you see this child doesn't understand, does sit in class. It's not a good child in class, but they're expressing. A sudden refusal of this child entering a school bus in the evening. A child who lingers after everyone else has gone, says nothing at all, just there around the school compound, doing what? Lingering, and doesn't want to go where? Home. Sometimes the delivery doesn't want to go to the school bus, and the school bus has left me. Have you had those kind of kids? The school bus has done what? Has left me. They're in school. They're fearing something. Every one of those is a disclosure. Every one of those is a child running a test to find out what kind of adult you are and how much you can be able to do disclosure. Kindly, please, receive this information, sit down, listen without judgment. Don't ask leading what? Questions. Be assured, I believe you. You've done the right thing in telling me. This is not your fault. Please reassure that child for you to get information. Do not investigate. You become investigator. You're not a policeman. You're not DCI. You just do what? Listen. You are a witness, not a detective. Kindly. Never ask leading questions. Never ask, are you sure? Did he really touch you? You know what I mean, yeah? You're trying to, no, please, just there, sit down and what? Please don't investigate. Do not promise secrecy also. But this is between me and what? And you. The honest answer is, I'll have to tell one person whose job is to keep you safe. Please record in the child's own words, verbatim, where possible, not your interpretation of them. Dated, time, signed, written the same day, not the same week. Recorded, written the same day, not the same what? Week. But please refer within 24 hours to your designated safeguarding lead DSL. I know we talk about language DSL, designated safeguarding lead. Some of us maybe don't understand what. So where you meet the threshold, please make sure you can also do this to some sub-county children officer. The police in Kenya have an outline, National Child Helpline. You know the number? What's the number? 11 what? 6. WhatsApp number 0722 116 11 what? 6. My dear ed teachers who are here, deputy ed teachers who are here, yes, I want to talk to you. Let me be plain, and I will move on. Allow me, instead of being stuck here, let me be plain. Moving an offender to another school is not a sanction. It's a distribution. So sad that the greatest hindrances are ed teachers and deputy teachers who transfer teachers instead of taking what? Action. God forgive them. Accepting acquired designation to avoid a process is not discrimination. That's a reference you're giving somebody to go to another school. And a settlement negotiated between two families over a defiled child is not a resolution. It's a criminal offense. In what adults have made themselves parties in this. But you want to do what? To negotiate between what? Families. I have no interest in institutions with excellent reputations and unsafe children. I have no interest. You can have the best institution with good reputation, but if the child is unsafe, then that is not a what? An institution. And for the teachers in this room, one point of law you should already know. The TSC Circular number 3 of 2010 requires that instances of learners' abuse be reported within 24 hours. Go read that one, because you are teachers. It is a criminal offense to suppress, conceal, of that information. It's a criminal offense. Concealment is not loyalty. It's not discretion. It's already today an offense. What must change now? So what do I want this room this morning? Because of keynote that ends in argument, no action is entertainment. And I'm not here to entertain you. And children cannot eat entertainment. Am I right? Yes, let's move on. I want to speak to 5 groups in turn, and I'm specific to each one of you as I finish. School leaders and boards. Appoint and name as designated safeguarding lead a senior, trained, and with a deputy, not one, with a deputy DSL, designated safeguarding what? Lead. These are words in maybe international schools, but it must be names which are supposed to be common in each and every school in this country. And that person is done what? Trained, and is a deputy. Fix your recruitment. School leaders, fix your recruitment. Vet everyone, teaching and unteaching alike. Check the TSC register. It's online. Insist on a valid certificate of good conduct. Take up references in writing, please. Don't take somebody without references. And then again, by telephone, and ask one question each single every time. Is there any reason at all why this person should not work with what? Children. Account for every unexplained gap in employment history. I never write a reference you could not be willing to defend in a court of what? Law. Extend the policy to every adult on site. Drivers, matrons, cooks, groundsmen, coaches, volunteers, contractors, anybody. We only be able to look at the teachers, but we don't look at the support what? Staff. Those are some things we miss. Have every one of them sign this child protection policy each and every year. Open low-level concerns register in your what? In your school with this DSL. Give children at least 3 reporting routes. Give them option. How many routes? 3, not 1. It's not DSL every time what? Go see the what? DSL. Go see the teacher. No. Give them other routes. Make sure one of them does not run through a teacher. A box, a named what? Adult outside the teaching. Give children the number 111 what? Let them be accessible. It's not for you alone. It must be given to our what? Children. Put safeguarding on the board agenda as a standing item immediate after the finance thing, if you are a board member here. After the finance, because you talk about, I do this, I sit in the board. The first agenda is what? The bottom line. Are we together? Is the what? Bottom line. Is safeguarding a bottom line? It should be the bottom line in every agenda in the board. Those are for the boards. Teach it. Teachers, teach this thing. Age-appropriate child safety, online safety on the timetable, not an assembly once a year. When we open school, Munaeka, please, this is what child protection is to a child. If you can put that in a what? A timetable, and this is taught to our what? Our children. A child who has not been given the correct name for a part of their body cannot report what is done to it. Why are we fearing telling kids that your breasts are sacred? Why? Tell them the right word. Right words. To parents, the stranger is not your principal threat. Most offenders are known to the child and trusted by the family. Guard the front gate if you wish, but know exactly who is in your sitting rooms. You can put Mbuakari out at the what? The gate. Your child doesn't go out, but who is in your what? This cousin, this uncle, this aunt in the what? It's a sitting room. They're abusing our children massively. Believe first to parents, verify afterwards. A child who doubted once will not come to you a second what? Time. And there may not be a third time, might be too late. Believe first, verify what? Afterwards. And never, never, in any circumstance, a parent, under any pressure from an elder, accept money, accept livestock, an apology, or an arranged marriage in exchange for silence about what was done to your what? To your child. That's not settlement. It's a second betrayal, and it's a crime. I can call it. Teachers in the room, it's you. Please report concerns. Let me be soft. Please report what? It's not your job to be sure. It's not your job to establish whether it happened. It's your job to be honest and do what? Report. The threshold, the smallest threshold of a child abuse is suspicion. It's suspicion, not proof. And never was it approved. Please, when you do what? Suspect. Do something. If you have been carrying a word about a particular child for weeks, hoping quietly that it can solve itself, then you already know what you are in this cathedral today doing, yeah? Please go do what? Report. To the mental health professionals, we work in hand together, and the child officers, two things. Say it with real respect for what you carry, out of respect first. We have built a system that's far better at prosecuting than the process of healing. We convict and we abandon. A conviction closes a file. It does not close a wound. A child recovery must be funded, followed up and treated with the same seriousness as the case itself. We end up prosecuting to Kimaliza, you do what? Close the what? Nobody follows that child to the end to find out what happened, even justice has been done. Second, safeguard the safeguarders. Vicarious trauma is real and it's occupational. The people in this room who take these calls at 2 a.m. in the night, morning, need clinical supervision. They need structures, debriefing. We take in a lot. And genuine rest. A pan-out child protection workforce is not a staffing problem. It's a child protection failure. We need to safeguard those people who've been entrusted to safeguard what? Children. Go demand for it. To the policymakers in this country, and what I came to Nairobi to say, from all the way from Tanzania, I came to say this. Kenya does not have a law problem. that people assume it has. No. We have Article 53 of the Constitution of this country, which guarantees that every child protection from which protects a child from what? And abuse, neglect, harmful cultural practices, all forms of violence, inhuman treatment, and exploitation from labor. We have the Child Act of 2022. We have the Sexual Offense Act. Kenya, we write good things. We have the best constitution in the world, in this part of the world. We have what we call Counter Trafficking of Persons Act, the Prohibition of Female Genital Mutilation Act, the Computer Misuse and Crime, Cybercrime what? We have so many acts. I mean, I don't know what an act is anyway. I'm not a lawyer. On paper, Kenya is well defended a country. It's a good country. What we have as a problem is the problem of implementation, an enforcement problem, and a funding problem. But there are also 6 specific gaps I want to name, then finish. 1, Kenya needs an unambiguous mandatory reporting duty, binding on every adult to ensure that you report. Teachers, health workers, clergy, social workers, coaches, caregivers, whoever you call, with a defined timeline. We need to have a place where these people report, and they should be able to be protected when they do what? Report. 2, one national safeguarding standard for every learning institution. I wish I was in that office, and I don't want to be in that office. I love my children. Public, private, international, faith-based, madrasa, home school, tuition centers, children's home. One standard. National safeguarding standard. At present, a child protection depends on substantially on what category your school is and what parents can afford. And that is something you don't have to defend. In a republic whose constitution says every child is protected, we must have one standard, safeguarding standard in each and every learning what? Institution. It's not for the group of schools. 3, a national barred list and universal vetting. The TSC register is a genuine national asset, genuine, but it covers registered teachers only. It doesn't cover matron, does it? No. It doesn't cover the bus driver. It doesn't cover the swimming coach. It doesn't cover the skilled guard, the private tutor who comes in, our church youth worker. Kenya needs a single searchable statutory register of persons prohibited from working with what? Children, where you go and do it there on one stand, you can be able to get this information. Children in the Artificial Intelligence Bill, I endorse from this platform the memorandum submitted by Amnesty International, Kenya, and Watoto Watch Network. I support it. Regulating artificial intelligence in this country in 2026, that does not define a child, does not classify system access to the children as high risk. I want to tell this morning that bill needs to be amended. It's a strategy rather than something wants to address a good problem. Finally, a funded success of the National Platform Action on Online Child Sexual Exploitation and Abuse. It runs from 2022-26. It expires this year. After expiring, what next? I've not heard anybody say about it. What next? 6, and last, money. In November last year, the Senate had directed that the State Department of Children's Services is chronically underfunded. And the ministry itself requested an additional 10 billion shillings to strengthen the child protection services. Let me put in the plainest language available to me as a chief executive. A mandate without a budget is a press release. So we should be able to do what? To fund these organizations which protect our what? Children. We have children officers covering entire sub-counties in this country without transport. We have rescue centers beyond capacity. We have one national airplane carrying a caseload 116 for the whole what? Country. You cannot protect Kenya's children on goodwill and prayer alone. Fund it or stop announcing it. And I have no fear. Let me end where I began, with the charge on the third what? Third row. I'm finishing. We are in a cathedral this morning. Am I right? And I hope you would allow me one observation drawn from that. Across every serious moral tradition represented in this room, you will find the same test applied to a society. Not how it treats the powerful in society, but how it treats those ones who cannot defend themselves. Safeguarding the discipline of the watchman is the decision to leave the door open. Please leave your doors what? Open. It's a decision to write down what you thought was nothing to that child. Write it down, document. It's the decision to ask awkward questions about a popular colleague. Please, question the popular what? The offenders are within your staff rooms. It's a decision to sit down when a child says, can I tell you something? Even if when you are late going to a class, can you drop that class and listen to the what? That child. None of those decisions will ever appear in a report. Nobody will thank you for one of them. That's the nature of prevention. Its successes are invisible. They may not be seen, but heaven will do what? Will record. Esther, you told me our theme was, every child deserves to be saved and given a what? A future. I want to be precise about the word given. A future is not handed to a child on a graduation ceremony. In an envelope with a photograph during the graduation, yeah? A future is built underneath a child, quietly over years, by adults who decided that this child's safety mattered more than their own convenience. The child protection and safeguarding mattered more than the institution's reputation and their community's comfort. And our second theme, which I got, was safeguarding today, securing what? Tomorrow. Every child in this country who is safe today becomes an adult who does not have to spend their 30s recovering from their childhood traumas. So, before you leave this cathedral today, ask each one of you one commitment, not a resolution, just a commitment. A commitment which is simply a resolution with a date attached. If you read a school, name your DSL. If you teach, write down the concern of that child. If you're a parent, have one honest conversation this weekend with your child about their body, their phone, and what they tell. If you are a policymaker, choose one of the 6 gaps I've mentioned here above. Put your weight behind it. If you're a policymaker. And if you're a young person in the room, I know there are a few of them. Understand all these adults have given up the work this morning. This their Friday. Traveled from Samburu, traveled from Mombasa, from Kilifi, because you matter. They have come here because a child does what? There is a child somewhere in this country whose entire life will be decided in the next few months by whether an adult was paying attention. May God bless us as you continue this workshop.
Now you know why some people are CEOs and the rest of us are not. Can we put our hands together for Mr. Nyamota? Thank you. Thank you for being here. On behalf of us, this is for you. Something.
Another round of applause, tafadhali. You know, when you qualify from high school and you go to the university, you're told you're going to an institution of? How many now feel they went through higher learning? Or you just went for learning? Bachelors of being around. Yeah, of masters of being around. So I think, how many of us, again, even in our professional development courses, have encountered such important information? How many? Yeah. TSC wako wapi? So what are we learning? Anything, everything except this, everything but this. Yeah? We are majoring in the minors and minoring in the majors, as my head teacher will say in high school. So I think, I don't know if the people who are supposed to hear this are hearing it, but a lot of press statements, Thank you very much. You're supposed to be called doctor now. I don't know. We will force that title on you. Yeah, professor. I think these are very important information. This is very important information that every educator should know. Every educator should know. I was quickly, as Liam gets ready, I was quickly going through a few statistics. Am I the one who is short, or it's this which is long, or height? Yeah, I'm the one who is short. Yeah. I was going through a few statistics. It was shocking. So, I was trying to see if this online protection channels actually work. Yeah, I was trying to see if these actually work. Now, between January 2025 and March 2026, Kenya's Child Protection Information Management System, how many even know that thing exists? Yeah? Recorded 10,581 child protection cases nationwide, Kenya, including 6,820 abandonments, 1,952 abductions, 1,636 missing children. And I was also going through one in the UK. It was even more shocking. Or generally, globally, child helplines received 6.37 million contacts in 2023. People actually called the 116 in Kenya, for example, of which 2.3 million were counseling contacts where a child could actually talk through an issue with a trained counselor. The most common reasons children contact helplines are mental health and violence. Yeah? Kuna mwalimu hapa ameniona war. Yeah? So I think something to think about. Now, this will actually not be very helpful if you don't get to listen to the children, will it? Yeah, so it's important to actually also give them a platform and let them speak to us as we speak to them. We speak to children, we don't speak with children. Yeah? So it's important to speak with the children. So please put your hands together for Liam as he comes. Yeah. Huyu ni kiongozi huyu. Yes. Yes. You can actually use this table. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so Liam will speak to us for around 7 minutes. 1 minute. Okay. Like 7 minutes ya nini? Yeah? 7 minutes ya nini? Huyu ni upcoming CEO. So I'll let him speak. And then after which, how many children are here? If you're under 18. We're at the back. Great. So once he's done, we will engage. We'll let the children ask questions, comment, and then all of us will also be welcome to ask them questions and comment as well. Karibu sana Liam.
Hello. Ni hao. I was about to explain, but my name is Liam Mugwe and I am 9 years old. So, what does safety mean to me? Safety means being able to enjoy my childhood without fearing being kidnapped, being bullied online and offline, seeing uncomfortable, cringe, or sus things like cartoons kissing. So, what would I want the adults in my life to do to support me as a child? Listen to me when I talk about what I've seen in videos, what I loved, and what made me uncomfortable. Not to shout at me when I make a mistake. Use parental controls, but tell me why they're important. Like I put a 1 hour timer for my gaming so that my eyes don't spoil or I don't get a headache or get addicted for playing too long. How can children be involved in their safety? Teach us about safety and unsafe behavior. We will understand. We are smart. Do not make us feel ashamed about our mistakes and we will talk about them. Thank you for listening. My name is Liam and I love gaming, coding, and reading. Oh yeah, and it's okay to have cheat days where it's when you safely break all your gaming and screen use, but you have to agree with your child on which day and for how many more minutes are you going to add. And check out my mom's book for raising digital natives and growing up connected.
Thank you. A big round of applause for him, please. Yeah. Ma'am to Liam, marketing fees. Yeah. Marketing fees. Yeah, you should give her your bank account details. Yeah, thank you. Now, I believe we have some children back there. I think Liam will still be here as we engage. I welcome the children from Amnesty. They could please come. Children from Amnesty could come as we also engage other children who are here. Yeah, makofi for them as they come. Yeah. Great, thank you. It's really important to have children in our organizations who are part of the process. Yeah? Yeah, we need to engage them so that as we write down those notes, their handwriting is in it, right? Yes. So thank you very much. Please, you can say your name, your experience at Amnesty in just a second, and then if there's anything you'd want to add to what Liam has said. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kayan, and I've been doing my work experience for year 11 in Amnesty.
Hi everyone, I'm Letitia Wandera. I'm from Oshel Academy and I've been doing work placement in Amnesty for my year 10. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I feel like it's taught me a lot and I feel like now I'm ready for work. Yeah.
Let me just say, these three were part of the panel that prepared this program. And there's a lot of things they told us that you haven't said, especially what Liam said, that we don't listen to children and we don't, as a recovering shouter, we also shout at them. There are things that you said. Is there something you'd like to say, especially to teenagers and how we treat you?
I just want to add that I think it's really important that when you're working with students and young children as well as teenagers, patience is really important because sometimes there's things that you might feel maybe angry or frustrated in the classroom, for example. But patience and just being able to listen and willing to listen to them for their problems, because children won't just react for no reason. There's always some sort of reason behind it. So yeah.
Also towards the teachers, I feel like students come to you as a safe place. They'll come to you to talk about their problems and then you'll hear them talking about you in the staff room. And
Walimu.
yeah, so I feel like that's something teachers might need to change because then that will make students keep their problems to themselves and that's a bad thing. It's can affect them mentally, yeah. And also for the parents, I feel like we also need to adapt to the changes in this generation. you guys grew up in a different setting. Yeah, so some things in the upbringing of the children probably need to change. Yeah.
Great.
Mumesikia? Have we heard?
Instant
Ama it's a
feedback.
press release. Thank you so much. Can we please give them a round of applause as they go and sit down? Allow me now to ask the panelists to come up front. We are getting into the crux of the matter, and Mr. Nyamota just put the foundation very well. We want to get into what is really happening in government, what's happening in the tech space, ed tech. I know that you in Tanzania, you just banned phones and screens in the classroom. We want to hear what Google have to say about it. Just to look at this across the agencies. So allow me to welcome Mr. Benson Kinoti up on stage, who will give his address, and then we go to the next one, and then we can get into the panel. I can't introduce you because a lot of what you do is quite long.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this. I think I'm tall. Am I? Good morning. You guys look amazing from up here. Look amazing, amazing. Okay? Kaklap kidogo hivi tuchangamke. No. Good, thank you so much for having us here. This is a very, very powerful group. Educators, parents, lawyers, Liam, right? Aren't you impressed? My name is Benson Kinoti. I work for an amazing company called Google. I head the education department for Africa. Over and above that, I'm a dad, okay? I'm a father of 3 amazing kids. 2 of them are teenagers, twin girls, and I didn't get them alone. So today, I decided to come with my wife. I think she must be somewhere. Emma, where are you? Yeah, at the back there. And I promised I'll do the classic thing that, because we are in a church setup, that churches lie to us at times. Just raise your hand, we won't tell you to come here, and then you end up making a speech. But Emma, she's also in parental engagement, very passionate about technology and education. She has an amazing product, so this is a space that we are very, very close to as well. And we are honored to be here with you, okay? I won't bore you, so I'll take you through 10 slides in my mind. Very beautiful slides. Esther, we need to work on a projector next time so that we get to see the visuals, but I can share with you those who share their emails. I had a chance to look at what is taught across Africa when we talk about online safety and such stuff, right? Buzzwords, online grooming, phishing, all those things that your child passes that part and goes on. Okay, today in terms of tech, I'm not here to talk about that because I feel we need to bring it closer home to what our kids are actually being exposed to, risks that we live with in the Kenyan context, in our homes, in our schools. And from a tech point of view, maybe share a bit of tricks and tips of what we do from a technology point of view, because that's what I engage with in a daily. What are we doing? AI is here. What are the risks do we stand to have our kids involved? What should we watch out for? And possibly we walk towards that direction. Cool? Very quickly, a child setup has to have an engaged parent, an engaged educator, like most of you here, and a community around them that is also very, very much engaged. Okay, that can be the nanny you have at home, could be the aunties, everyone who Mr. Nyamota told us about, who you should be very keen about. And when we talk about risks, that technology is bringing, or what we are safeguarding against our kids, those risks ideally come when we bring that intervention of those, those triangles I've talked about, when you bring them together. How many of you here are pilots? How many bet? Because I hear they're called pilots nowadays. Sindio? Aviator, how many avatar? There's a tool. People are, and that thing is not for the people who are doing casual work there. There are professionals who are into betting, okay? So while you're busy teaching kids about online grooming, and when the kid borrows your phone, 10 apps pop up are betting apps, okay? Do you think we cover that in our syllabus? When you have these funny WhatsApp groups on your phones and your kid asks you for 5 minutes screen time using your phone and there's content being shared, do we teach them that in school? So that's how I want us to view tech exposure in that context. It's not the context of online bullies. And we're going to talk about gaming and all these other things. There are things within our family setups, in our sitting rooms, that are making us even expose our kids further, all right? I'll borrow Liam's note. Liam spoke about screen time, okay? Most of you just have a zero policy on device. As long as the child looks cranky, you want to entertain the child and give them the nearest screen that you have. We are guilty, no? Yeah, we've turned the tools, these tablets, laptops, phones, into tools to entertain our kids, right? Because we think our primary subject as a parent is to keep our kids entertained. No, that is not our main role. Our main role is not to shove a screen in front of them when they look not happy, all right? It's to understand that the countries, regions like Europe, America are right now talking about screen time and the effects of it and how can they cover it as a national. But as a region, sub-Saharan region, which I cover, we are using technology to advance so that we get proper access of learning materials to students. We bring technology closer to our kids. We've not started talking about screen time, okay? So at the beginning, let's start interrogating how do we become risks ourselves as parents, as teachers, through the common devices that we have at home and that intersection that we have there. So mobile phones, social spaces that we have. I've talked about betting apps, group chats that are not controlled. We have, what's the name of, not WhatsApp, there's an alternative one to WhatsApp that probably I should not name, or if any one of you knows it. What is it called? Signal, yes, right? And there's another one, if you want to see any graphic, gossip thing, people, Telegram, people being united, all of you are going there to see what's uniting them, right? Now let's talk about it. Yeah, and your kids are there, but you know what they're doing? They're learning how to conceal vaping using technology, okay? They're getting into those groups in Telegram that will tell them a vape can look like a pen. And I've been in those schools. And your child becomes a smoker and you never smell it because there are all those raspberry things that they use and they smell like perfume. And your child tells you nowadays, I'm a bit sweaty, I want this type of perfume, raspberry, but they're concealing what they are. And there's a whole Telegram group about the next move and how we can conceal. That is not phishing. That is not identity theft. You know those big words that you are teaching them, right? That is a context. And the examples I'm giving you are as close to this county, to this country, to this continent. And the experiences I have personally seen people go through. And there are some of the things that we at least try and support them from a tech point of view on how to do it. Okay. So let's not demystify it into, my child passes ICT, the model of online safety, so well. In fact, they got an award, so they know how to. Things are happening right right below our noses. Okay, voice chats, games, and I love to hear Liam and the team, they love gaming because that's the era they're in. We'll talk about gaming. It's a big, big industry, okay? We are developing right now engineering towards teaching kids through gaming because we've realized we are losing the fight, okay? So when they're in Roblox, playing as a team, and they're asking for extra time at night, okay? I have to cover my tattoo so that I look serious. They're asking for extra time. It's probably not because game imeshika. It's probably because they're playing with people in other regions, okay? Why? Do you know what they do? When they are playing 99 nights, or 99, I think it's called 99 days, right? Is it called 99 days? In the forest, that one. I know it. I'm not a gamer, but I've been there. Okay, right? Tell me, Liam, how is it?
It's basically like a horror game, but it's not horror. It's child-friendly, horror-ish. And there's also many more.
It's a very good game. Oh, hold up. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's a very good game, eh? But they're chatting with strangers, okay? They're pairing. They're trying to survive this forest. It's an amazing game. I've seen my kids play. But there is a chat on the side also that maybe they're not talking about the forest, okay? And the kid might be groomed, probably not to fall as a victim to whoever they're chatting with, but it's gonna mess them up, okay? Remember what we've been told by our senior educator. You need to mention those things. When someone starts telling you, oh, these parts look this way, your kids need to know we are being now diverted into the wrong attention. Okay, very good games being used wrongly, right? Even in classroom technology, kids are bullied by others in the classroom as they submit their work, as they do the group work. One of the biggest solutions we have as Google is Google Workspace, which has Google Classroom. We have interventions for that. Kids know how to not delete the history, delete the pages that you won't know. Okay, kids know safe mode, just like you know. Sindio, they know. So the tools we're employing at school as well, and I would challenge Esther probably what we can do. Let me know the schools that are represented here and see whether we can give them as Google free workspace tools and emails that are secure. That I would love that, so that you're using technology the right way. And we'll reach out to my office and then we can see how we'll do that. Huh? So that we're using the right tools, not commercial tools. Okay, not commercial tools. In education, when Larry and Saji, the founders of Google, set up education, they explained to us who lead that team that they would want an environment where students are using military-grade, enterprise bank-grade softwares at no cost so that they safeguard their content, their IP, because that homework is still their IP as well, right? And the environment, okay? So if you're out there using you can be using your personal Google to do your homework. I won't stand here and tell you that you won't get adverts. True, it will be a lie. But if you're using a Google domain that is registered with us, and possibly that's a bit technical, but for those who have schools, we can work with the IT teams, that is registered to us as a domain within a school, and we've approved it, that child should not get an advert. That data should not be used anywhere else, okay? And those are some of the things as technology companies we need to be alive to. So there's a lot in AI that is coming up. There's fake images, deep fakes. I think you've seen that. We are in election mode, so a lot of those things are happening right now. They are convincing answers when you use AI. And AI is not going anywhere. So I think as educators, the first thing we need to do is just to brush that off and we figure out the next steps, okay? The assignments you give them, they will get them and run them through AI tools, and then they will prompt the AI and tell it, make it human, so that it sounds human, and it tells AI, add a degree of incorrectness, so that I'm not getting everything, okay? And when you try and tell them, and it as handwritten, they will still write what the tools have given them, okay? So we realized that very early as Google, and we were not very fast to go out to release Gemini and the other AI tools for learning. We developed a model called LearnLM, which the model is what now fires or the engine behind AI, okay? LearnLM is a learning model or an AI model that is based on the learning science principles, okay? So that when a child puts in 2y plus 6y equals 14, 17y plus or minus 6y equals what? Find the value of y. They are not getting the value of y, okay? What AI should do is break down into, do you know how to do a mixed equation? And gives an example. Please do this small example of an equation. You got it right. Do you know how to do your board maths? I'm really struggling with maths here, so please, if I get it wrong, just flow with me. Act as if I'm right. And it goes with it until they now guide the learner to what they should be. It's called guided learning, okay, in AI. So those are some of the tools that we are integrating in our platforms. But if you're out there as an educator or as a school using commercial tools, you will get their responses, you'll struggle with that, okay? So Esther, let's work and see probably what we can do with the schools that are available here. Sharing personal data, I think that has been covered widely. I don't want to get into that. The shortcuts that we have within not only students, even teachers. I was speaking to KICD the other day, and one of the things we are trying to figure out is, how do we support the country in coming up with a model, AI model, that can guide teachers through, it's not really a vending machine for lesson plans, but it can guide you through making work easier, okay? So you're not going there and shoving in a question, create a lesson plan, create for me questions, so that we also make sure that the educators are learning and, as they're doing that, within the parameters of your curriculum, within the parameters of what is guided as an institute. So 80% of youth in sub-Saharan Africa, where I serve, have encountered online bullying and gambling adverts in one way or the other, okay? In a society where jobs are limited, in a society where gambling has become an option to, thrive, the perception they are painting, in an economy where, or society where social media has a lot of fakeness that youth want to relate to and they don't know, okay? It's probably going to be a pandemic where most youth, after graduating, are going to get into that very addictive space of betting, and we started grooming them early enough as commercial companies that are out there, okay? Is that not grooming? It might not be sexual, but it's grooming them into what they will get into a hole, right? Can you imagine if you started advertising alcohol to kids early enough and they become accustomed to it? By the time they get of age, they'll see no problem with that, okay? So please, let's also bring it to the context of what's happening. So 5 pillars that we are working and what my team work with. We say smart, so make sure your kids share smartly. Parents, share smartly also in the sitting room, not only via devices. When you're sharing your perceptions on what is happening in the TVs, kids are listening, right? Safeguard them at least to that level as well, right? Alert, don't fall for fakes. Teach your kids how to know what is fake and what is not true. And you yourself should be. How many of you have received calls from their parents up country telling them how they have received a very exciting call that they have won something and all that? We also get to fall into those traps. Yeah, so secure, strong and secure. So if it's passwords that are allowed, and at times you don't need passwords, okay? You have devices in your house, first policy should be no password, okay? Or if you're afraid maybe a password that is known by everyone else, okay? Tools to manage screen time, okay? If your kids are on YouTube, which I work for, make sure that they are on YouTube. And when you're getting them on YouTube, kids, make sure that they're within the right age set, okay? Setting it up as a parent for them so that you control. And if you notice that there's any YouTube material for YouTube kids that is not right, there's a report, okay? That's how we build a community of content that is right there. Then be brave. Liam has told us about that. And lastly, I will finish with a very brief exercise. I told you today I'm in church mode, so turn to your neighbor. Look at your neighbor's eye or eyes. If they have specs, please remove briefly. Okay, I promise you this is professional. Look at your neighbor's eye. Don't worry. Do you see any eyelashes? If there are no eyelashes, makosa ya kwanza. Okay? Because eyelashes are supposed to trigger that quick blinking to make sure there is no dust that gets into your what? Are there eyebrows? Yes. Not the painted ones. Are there eyebrows? If there are no eyebrows, makosa number, because eyebrows, they protect your sweat from getting into your what? They are definitely eyelids. Senior. And when they blink very fast. So that there is no foreign object getting into you. And then this place is called the eye socket. So that when you get someone bumps you or slaps you, your eye is protected and it doesn't move around. And then finally, tears. Okay. They clean our eyes every time a speck or something gets into it. Okay. Now you can look at me. Some of you are still staring at each other. So God created the eyes in a very sacred way, such that it's protected more than even the other organs that you think should be protected more, because that is an entry point to the good and evil. True. We all do have a purpose in life to protect what goes through our kids' eyes, okay? I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for listening to me. I'll not be able to stay through the day, but I'll catch up with Esther on the rest. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Round of applause for him again. Thank you. Thank you, Google. I hope we can give teachers jobs here. You know? Ngapi wanataka kazi Google? Hata wenye mjainua najua mnataka. Yeah. How many of you knew the work of eyebrows? Eyes, into the eyes. Yeah. I think it's important to know some of these things. Now, I'd like to welcome, I think we should have, but we're having a panel of everyone who has spoken here. So if you can just do like 10 minutes, would really be great, so that we have more of this content. It's really important content. We can have just 10 minutes of just introductory comments, and then go into the actual conversation. Now, the next panelist who will be here is Athena. The second name, I will not say it, lest I make sins and crimes. Yeah, so she's quite accomplished. She's a digital safety advocate. She's worked very much in children and online spaces. So I know what she says will be very, Liam is already clapping for you, you know. She'll be very instrumental in these conversations when you talk about what happens to children online. What is the online harm that they actually face? I was listening to Tatenda and he was saying online predators. So we'll talk about such things. Yeah, so just 10 minutes. We can do, you know, your son did 1 minute. So yeah, so, and then we'll have more conversations. If you have questions, comments, please write them somewhere. We'll have some time to work on this. I understand there are there's attendance online through Mtoto News. So please feel free to ask any question online, feel free to comment, and let's have a conversation together today until evening. So karibu sana. A round of applause for her again. Thank you. 10 minutes. Thank you.
Hello. Ni hao. My name is Athena. The second name is Mwarwa Kamori. Mwarwa Kamori. Or Mwarewa Kamori. Morgan. Yeah? And Liam is my son. Woo! Now I have started my timer. Thank you to speakers who have gone before me. I know the gentleman from Google has really insisted that we have to focus on harms that are also emerging. But at the point of us not assuming, how many actually know what online grooming is? By a show of hand. Online grooming. I see 6 hands. Okay, thank you. That helps me set the pace for where we're going to start. So children face harms online because of a number of reasons. The first reason for this is fear of being, as Liam said, being shouted at, right? Secondly, is because they think they will not be believed. Thirdly, maybe you have had one session in your school about safeguarding and online behavior. So when they mess up, they think, I deserve this because I was told about it and I still did what? I messed up. So they take the guilt upon themselves and they say, I deserve this. Another reason why children don't disclose abuse is because they may have formed an emotional attachment with their abuser. And this becomes very common, especially when children have special needs. And I'm not saying special needs in form of disabilities, but I'm saying it in terms of they're lacking something. So if they're not getting affection, they're not getting attention at home, maybe they come from a poor background where they cannot afford the bad and bougie things their friends are doing. If the abuser online promises to give them this in exchange, for whatever form of abuse, whether it is online or offline sexual abuse, the child might be like, this is, yeah, they might be abusing me, but I'm benefiting from it. So that shows that the child has formed a certain form of attachment to the abuser, and despite knowing that this is abuse, they will not report it because they see as though they are benefiting from it. And this is one of the most difficult situations to remedy, because how then do you address the push and pull factors that led this child to form the attachment with the abuser? And that just doesn't fall on as a burden to the parents, but also the teachers and the society at large, to make sure there are resources to meet the needs of the children, but also talk to the children about lifestyle, comparison, and what have you, the things that teenagers go through when, you know, teenagers, right? So those are some of the main reasons why children do not disclose abuse. So let's look at abuse very briefly. I am running through this. I am a trainer, but we do this training for 2 to 3 hours. I'm doing it in 10 minutes, okay? So if I lose you, please feel free to write a note, and during the panel session, we can answer some of your questions, okay? So online grooming, the first harm, this is when an abuser online forms a relationship with a child with the intention to later abuse them. Remember, these children, we said, who have special needs. They feel not attended to, not loved, not heard. So someone online tells them, but you're beautiful. your parent doesn't see this, don't worry, I'll mentor you, I'll be your parent, I'll be your father figure. Let's meet at this mall, I buy you a nice dress. And then they go to the mall and the child gets kidnapped or gets abused or is even forced to steal. Because grooming does not always end up in sexual abuse. It can end up in any other form of abuse. So grooming is when a person forms an emotional attachment with the child by pretending to fulfill a need and then eventually use the trust of the child to take advantage of them. So a child will be like, I have a special new friend online, they listen to me. Sometimes this person may be a 40-year-old adult pretending to be a 15-year-old boy or girl, okay? And remember, technology gives us anonymity, meaning that it is very hard to verify if someone is who they say they are on the online platform. Are we together? Second thing, cyberbullying. We all know what it is, right? Calling bad names, sending memes, stuff, right? But did you know that exclusion is a form of cyberbullying? Yes, so when children in a group are doing things together, but they intentionally leave one child out, that is a form of cyberbullying. Because remember, bullying's intent is to make you feel bad about yourself or doubt your worth, okay? So any conduct online that makes a child doubt themselves can be termed as cyberbullying, okay? And we make the mistake of saying, but they didn't touch you, they didn't physically harm you, so just shake it off, right? And for boys, how many are in boys' schools or mixed schools with boys? How many times do you tell boys, shake it off? Kuwa mwanaume, be a man. Men don't show weakness, yeah? But you see, if you look at statistics, I don't have the exact number, but I'm sure you can back me up. The highest cases of suicides among teens is by who? By who? Boys. So we need to understand that the psychological and emotional impact of online and offline abuse affects both boys and girls equally, and sometimes boys even more because they're the ones who cannot report because they will not be given the emotional support that girls receive when they are abused online, okay? Let's talk about trends and online influencers. This can also manifest itself as a form of online abuse. Do you remember the crate challenge? The egg crate or the soda crate challenge? Yeah, where adults started by stacking up crates and then the one who can climb to the highest gets the most likes online. It's a 30-second thrill. How many people got harmed in that process? Very many, right? There was another challenge where people were dancing. They start dancing with lights on, then lights blink off, and then when they blink on again, people are in their lingerie, in the bras and panties, yeah? Do you remember that challenge? Do you even know such challenges exist? Now you do. So when they're on these online platforms, they're following influencers and trends, they can end up causing harm to themselves unintentionally, okay? So it's very important to have conversations with children about the people they follow online, what is trending, and also talk to them about small pleasures that have long-term consequences. Are we together? Let's talk about predation in games. Who knows what predation in games is? Anyone who has an idea? You won't answer. I just want to see by a show of hand. Predation in games. How many of us have games in our phones? All of us, right? How many have ever played Candy Crush? All of us. Now, imagine that Candy Crush. You have swiped, and then it's just one more move, and then you finish that deck. And then you go to swipe, and it tells you out of moves. How do you usually feel? Right? Now, imagine this is a child you have put on an online platform. They are competing with peers whom they know. And then they just need 10 more jewels or gems or Robux to complete a level which all their other peers have completed, but they can't get it, maybe because they're not getting money from their parents or they haven't stacked up enough to be able to get it, right? But there's this particular person X who has been following these children on their online account, and they know that this particular child is struggling and all their peers have moved ahead. So if this person tells the child, I will send you 50 Robux to upgrade, but in exchange, just send me a nude photo of yourself. What do you think the child will do? You see that frustration you feel kwa kagame yako, and it's not even that serious. Now imagine this one is playing with peers, and we haven't had a conversation with them about safe gaming. Of course, what will they do? They will send, and then they put themselves in a situation of what? Of abuse, right? So it's also important as educators to start keeping in mind the psychological changes that children are going through at every stage, so that we can mentor and advise them on how to handle frustrations, feelings of love, attraction. As I finish up, I have done a couple of high schools this last week, talks with high schools as they were closing. And I was in a certain boys' high school a few days ago. And I really loved their approach, because the teacher was telling the boys, the teacher told the parents actually, so we took your boys out for funkies. You know what funkies are, right? And your boys got lots of girls' numbers. So if your son borrows your phone to talk to a certain person they met on the funky, give it to them, but also have a conversation with them. Contrary to that, most schools will be like, nisikuona ukiongelesha kijana, nisikuona ukiongelesha msichana. You know, you're bringing shame to our school. But is that being cognizant of the emotional and psychological changes that teenagers are going through at that particular point? Is it? So we are not encouraging children to have unhealthy relationships. We are encouraging them to understand that it is normal. You can talk to a girl, you can talk to a boy. It is okay to have feelings, but this is what you do with those feelings, okay? That opens the door for conversation, meaning that if something happens, they will still be comfortable to come and tell you, I did this, or I'm being asked to do this. Is this correct? Okay, tuko pamoja? So it is very important as educators for us to keep this in mind. And the last point I want to talk about is AI and AI relationships. How many of us have heard about that? My time is up. Okay, 2 minutes. AI and AI relationships, have we heard about it? Yeah, where children are actually forming attachments to tech. I was loving what you were saying about the LMs, where you go and ask a question and it tells you, think about it fast, or let me teach you how to do it. But today's AI, even my son is always joking about my ChatGPT, because it says, what's up, Athena? How is your day going? What do you have in mind today? If you have a friend who talks to you like that, how would you feel? Nice. You ask AI a question, it's like, no, you are not wrong. You know, it is normal. Let me just tell you. You go talk to your mom or your dad or even your teacher. What will your teacher tell you? When you can papers mark, get out of here. Or those are things we will discuss another time, right? Teachers, Sawa, I love you guys. I'm just giving an example, right? Your parents will be like, I'm so busy, can't you see I'm on a phone call? You know, I need to finish this project, right? So AI is quote unquote filling a gap for teenagers, especially, and children who feel like they're being ignored. So remember, they can be groomed, but now AI is not even grooming. AI is just that available partner. So the day when they have no internet, or the day they're not able to access these platforms, the children become depressed. Or when it is cut out from them, so we've had cases of suicide because of online relationships. There is one where the child was like, I want to meet you. And the AI is like, I am just a tool. And it's like, no, you understand me. You talk my language. You feel me. I want to meet you, right? And that kind of frustration also shows you the point whereby this child's mind has been bamboozled by technology to the point where they cannot even tell the difference between now what is real and what is not. So it is important to look for telltale signs. These are signs that may indicate that a child may be going through something. It doesn't mean that when you see one sign, it means that is it, that this child is troubled. Signs most of the time overlap. If it was a bubbly child in class, all of a sudden they're withdrawn. They were top performers, all of a sudden they are dropping. the child was always talking, had a group of friends, now they are isolating. Those are some of the signs. You find depression, school going, absenteeism, cases of absenteeism. A child comes to school late, they sleep throughout classes, and this was someone who was attentive. Remember, if they're online at night, shooting videos and talking to strangers, will they get enough time to sleep? So it is important to observe the telltale signs, learn about them, so that you can better guide children on it. Oh, and you were told record but never share. Do not ever share child content that you have recorded as disclosure, okay? Or punishment. We know what happened to that school, right? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Liam insisted on talking about my books. He's that I have to. So thank you, Liam.
Kumbuke marketing fees. Thank you. Thank you very much. We are now, you know, these are a very important state department in government. What is its name? State Department of Children's Services. Under the Ministry of Gender. No. You just know gender. Yeah, so seen or unseen, there are things that the government is really doing and are very important. Maybe because someone is not shouting about them, we maybe have not heard or known what they're actually doing in child safeguarding. And as Elizabeth will very pronouncedly talk about them, we will get to know what is the government doing, what are the gaps that exist in government implementation of these policies, and what can we do to support the government in doing these things. What can we as teachers, what is our value input? What is our value addition? Yeah, is it in promoting child helpline services or lines? Is it in helping children know what to do in such circumstances? Is it in, you know, giving them platforms like this to actually talk about this? So please help me welcome Elizabeth, who will talk about the government and what it's doing, and will engage. Karibu sana. Thank you. 10 minutes.
Serikali inapewa 10 minutes. Okay. Sawa. Maybe I will ride on the protocols that were ahead of me. Good morning. Hope it is still morning. These are all teachers. Walimu wa maths, hi. Happy New Happy. Thank you for the good job you do. I know you gave a lot of homework for the holidays. Walimu wa histo, hi. And CRE. Those are usually the darlings of the students, isn't it? And the language teachers. Okay, so my name is Elizabeth Wawire. I'm a children officer. I'm based here at Nairobi region. I heard people say Ministry of Gender. Hapo pengine hawajui ni social, hawajui ni nini ama ni ke. It is okay, okay? Maybe most of you remembers when you were still under the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection. By God's grace, we moved last year, and we are now domiciled in the Ministry of Gender, Culture, and Children Services. You know, CS, you desire to work with children services, you need to know those things. CS wetu ni nani? I heard someone say Aisha. No. Huh? Kila time ina change. We have Mheshimiwa Hannah Cheptumo, okay? Our PS is CPA, Karen Ageno, and we have our secretary, Mr. Shem Nyakutu. Our headquarters is just here. If I shout, watanisikia. So Elizabeth, where are you? Shouting. I see officers from the National Council of Children's Services. Kindly just wave to us. I want to acknowledge you. These are very, very important people. So whatever I'm saying here, kama ni ya uongo, I'm your oversight authority. Okay? Yes. So because I have 10 minutes, I'll just basically take us through what we do. How many of us have ever visited a children's office? Haujashtakiwa, yani wewe umetembea tu. Na hata kama umeshtakiwa, hakuna makosa. Si mwanadamu lazima afanye makosa kidogo. Especially men. Si ndio? No? You can accidentally forget you have a wife and get a mpango wa kando na upate mtoto. Si ndio? Makosa ufanye? Si ndio? Or it is the young ladies. Hamtaki kuchoka sana. Umepata bazuu wako na pesa. You don't care whether he has a family or not. Ukipata mtoto, anakublock. Si ndio? So unataka child support. Where do you go? Children's services. Basically, that's what we do, but that's not the only thing that we do. We implement the Children's Act 2022. This is a document that you can easily get from our website and go through it, kwa sababu leo niko tu na 5 minutes. Okay? So we protect children from all forms of abuse. The keynote speaker actually highlighted most of the abuses, from sexual abuse, which is a menace in this country and in this great city of Nairobi. We have sodomy going on, whether in schools or at home. Sindio? Siku na mwalimu alishikwa pale Kikuyu, sindio? Where our children should be safe. Of course, we have the principle of you are innocent until proven guilty. Now, girls being defiled either by fellow children in the name of love. Sindio? Simnasikianga zile kesi za Romeo and Juliet. Msichana na kijana wamependana during holiday, wewe unaona ya BNB, wewe unashout, unapelekwa koti, unainterfere na privacy ya mtu. It is challenging to parent in Kenya today. Sindio? And it is challenging to be a teacher in Kenya today. So you are doing a good job. Okay? Issues of physical abuse, issues of child labor. In Nairobi, we have our children collecting scrap metal. Simuona? Pale kwa estate, zuba tu hivi rim ya gari imeenda. Sio? Yeah. Our children are being used to do that by adults. So when such cases are reported to us, we will assess. We will investigate with the help of the police. We do not work alone. We collaborate with the police. We collaborate with various government agencies like the Ministry of Health. In case a child has been physically assaulted or sexually assaulted, they will be taken there for medical checkup. And in case of sexual violence or physical violence against a child, treatment should be free of charge. Okay? In a government facility. So hata serikali kama ifanyi kazi sana, vile wao wanasema, kuna pahali inajaribu, sindio? And you also have partners like the Nairobi Women's Hospital. They also give free services to sexual and gender-based violence victims. Sawa. And even Coptic Hospital. Sawa. So kidogo ilikuwa inaleta mshike. The regional coordinator does not know what to do with the county coordinator. The regional commissioner hajui wabishane na county commissioner. Si shule pia kuna structures. Kuna principal halafu, deputy halafu, senior tukiendelea hivyo. Okay? So because of that, national government now came up with a structure, and we have been now divided into 3 sub-regions. We have Nairobi East Sub-Region. Nairobi East Sub-Region ni pande za Eastlands. Watu wa Eastlands, hi. I started life pale Kayole, so ni kuzuri. Okay? So all the Eastland sub-counties, whether it is Embakasi East, Embakasi West, Embakasi South, North, and Juru. they now form the Nairobi East sub-region, and it now has a county coordinator called Madam Margaret, okay? At the moment, they are based pale karibu na Mama Lucy, where all the government offices of Embakasi Central are. Then we have Nairobi West sub-region. Now Nairobi West ni sehemu kama Westlands, Dagoretti North. Watu wa Dagoretti, hi. Yeah, you are very special to me. Before I came to the region, I was a sub-county children officer for Dagoretti, and I really fought for it to be divided into two for services to reach everyone. It was not easy to serve both North and South. It was very strenuous. So Kibra and Langata, all those now constitute Nairobi West. And we have a county coordinator for that region called Madam Nancy Waswa, okay? Then tunabaki na Nairobi North, okay? Si nimesema Nairobi East, West and North, okay? North sasa ni hizo zingine zote zenye zimebaki mtajijazia. Okay? No, let me just say. Kuna Makadara, sio? Kuna Mathari, kuna Starehe, kuna Kasarani, Roysambu, Ruaraka. And we have a county coordinator called Mr. Cosmas. He was here in the morning. Yes. Banda County Coordinator, karibu watu wako hakujue. Please help me appreciate my boss, County Coordinator, Bwana Cosmas Kareda. Okay? Tunaona ningechoma picha kidogo kama singezitaja. Sindio? Yeah, thank you so much. So this is just to make the giving of services to Kenyans, and especially our families and children, easier, okay? When you visit a children's office, services should be free, okay? To come and consult Elizabeth, Mr. Carrera, Madam Jackie, it is free of charge, okay? To have your issue heard, because we mediate in your issues. We conduct rescues. The CEO here did the Lord's work. Alisema children officers wako, lakini hawana nini? Hawana fuel, sindio? Hawana magari, sindio? So sometimes when you call us and it take a bit of time to respond, si kupenda kwetu, okay? It's because I have to call Salama Futures. Niko na kesi, nisaidie, gari lako niende rescue, okay? Na maybe yeye yako on Saints anafanya training, sindio? So all those that we do, we collaborate with various partners, both actors and non-actors. What is our role as teachers? Teachers, you are the ones who stay with our children from January to October, sindio? Because hata hizi wiki tatu sijui zinaendanga wapi, sindio? Like those who will be in DVBS, sijui what, sindio? Then the holiday will soon be over and we give you, and then you can sleep very well in November and December, while most of us are coming to work. My neighbors who are teachers usually tell me, uvalie high heels huko chini. Sana hata leo nimekuja na flats, because sasa singevaa high heels wakisikia ninawapigia makele na wanataka kulala wamechoka saa. Ni ukweli? Pole basi. Okay? So, teachers, you have now been recognized in the Children's Act as authorized officers who can report a child protection issue. Tuko pamoja? I know kitambo mlikuwa mnaogopa kusema mtoto amedhulumiwa kwa sababu mnaogopa mzazi ama the school will take action against you. Today you are protected. Tuko pamoja? Even if you report, whether anonymously or you want to be known, the Children's Act recognizes you as an authorized officer. You as a teacher, the chief is an authorized officer, medical practitioners, and all those people are also parents. So it is the responsibility of every one of us to protect our children and also to report any form of abuse to our children. And who abuses our children? Do you know the abusers? We are told we are in a church. Look at your neighbor. Uliza neighbor, do I look like a potential abuser? The answer is okay. All of us are potential. We can emotionally abuse children. Sindio? Wewe uko na kichwa kubwa kama ya baba yako. Sindio? Wewe ni mjinga kama mama yako. Sindio? So that is an abuse. Hey, when you refuse to provide for your children, you neglect them. Yes, ni abuse. Because umekosana na mpoa. Amerudi kwao. So unasema na mimi nitawafundisha adabu. Hata wanunulia chakula. We are all potential abusers. Okay? Whether it is the clergy, because siku hizi hata sheikh wana abuse ni watoto. Pastors wameamua watakula kondoo na watoto wa. So are our children safe? Let's teach them to be safe wherever they are, how to protect themselves. So nikimalizia, how many minutes do I have? Visitors in any government office, you can come as a volunteer, by the way, during these holidays. You can visit any of the children's office and say, I want to volunteer, okay? And just serve the children and families of this country. Especially if you are a counselor, we need you. You can counsel a child, you can counsel a parent. Sindio? Yes. Kuvolunteer ina mshahara. Tuko pamoja? You can just come and volunteer. Report through our toll-free number. From here, I'm actually going for duty there, 116. You ever heard of 116? Ukinipigia jioni utanipata online. 24 hours, counselors are there listening to children, and children call. Okay? Like during the midterm, there was a child who had been suspended. You know, najambia mzazi, amekuwa suspended. Na holiday imei, na hajui anzie wapi. And we had to cancel her, bring the mother online, cancel them, reconcile the two until suspension ilipoisha akarudi shule. Okay? That's just one case scenario. But they are calling, parents are calling, and of course there are those pranks, we receive a few. Kama my friend here anaweza tu piga kuni prank, sindio? But you're always welcome to visit our offices, call 116, even just to inquire what you didn't get here today, you can call and someone will graciously explain to you more and more. So God bless you. Next time, utatupanga na muda mrefu, because I'm actually supposed to give my boss a few minutes to talk na nimekula yote.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? You are fine. Yeah, my name is Cosmas Carrera, Sub-Region Children's Officer, Nairobi North. Si mmeambiwa Nairobi North ni wapi? Kuanzia hapa City Center, mahali tuko. Kuendelea mpaka Kasarani, Roysambu, huko kote. Nimekuja jijini juzi, so na unasikiaga Waswahili wanasema aje? Jogoo hawezi wika wapi? So mimi juzi ndio nimetoka mashambani. I can see my friends wenye tumefanya kazi na wao. Nimeona wachache. Watu wa Kajiado, yes. So nimetoka Kajiado juzi. I've been working there. So bado mimi Masai kidogo. Na unajua Masai na Nairobi. So asante, especially Elizabeth. ofisa wa watoto kazi yake ni ofisa wa watoto kulinda watoto, na hatuwezi linda watoto wazazi wakifanya kazi yao, sisi tutafutwa. So if at all you are a parent, ufanye kazi yako vizuri, sisi tunapoteza kazi. Na we will be happy actually. Tukipoteza kazi kwa sababu watoto wamelindwa vizuri, we'll be very happy. Ufutwe kazi kwa sababu hakuna kazi yako ya kulinda watoto. Na most of the time we work with teachers. Na kuna walimu na pia ofisa wa watoto ambao sio wazuri. Kuna walimu na pia ofisa wa watoto ambao sio wazuri. Na wao ndio wako na jukumu ya kwanza ya kuprotect watoto. So sometimes you find teachers and even children's officers who are very harsh to children. They cannot be friendly to children. Na that should be the first point ya mtoto kuripoti. So tumekuwa na changamoto na especially kwa walimu. Try as much as possible to be friendly. Watoto wengi wanahangaika na hakuna mtu mwenye wanaweza pelekea hayo malalamishi. Parents sometimes wamekuwa wakali. Mimi najua hata kwangu nikifika siwezi kuwa mzuri sana. Lazima ukue kwa sababu ya challenges. Ukikuwa mzuri sana tena utawekwa kwa mfuko na watoto. No. So wale watu wanafaa kuwa neutral na wazuri ni walimu na children's officers. Ndio hata mzazi akisugua mtoto, the children can be able to report to the teacher na ndio ofisa watoto waweze kusaidia. So mara nyingi tunapata cases za wazazi, chache za walimu na chache za officers wa watoto. Lakini cases mingi za watoto they emanate from the family. 95% of children who have faced challenges or abuse is from the family level. Mama, baba, uncle, auntie, cousin, all those issues. So we cannot say that children are very safe at the family. Na ndio tuweze kuhakikisha children are safe at the family level, lazima walimu na maofisa wa watoto na all the actors in the field of children's protection waweze kuwa marafiki wa watoto. So kama wewe to some extent unaendaga na ile mentality huyu mtoto ni mbaya, huwezi saidia mtoto. There is no way utanisaidia ukijua mimi ni mbaya. Na walimu tunajulikana. Kuna wale watoto unajua huyu ni hata ukiuri huyu ni mbaya, huwezi saidia huyo mtoto because already umecreate na umeform an attitude to that child. So tujaribu kubadilisha na ndio tutaweza kusaidia watoto wetu. If you work with the children, mentality, attitude. Thank you na Mungu awabariki.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for him. Sante. Thank you very much. So, how many of you are tired? How many of you are hungry? Ngapi waliinama breakfast? Yeah, so we want to have a quick coffee tea break for 20 minutes. 20 minutes only. Yeah, so 11:20 we will be back here seated for the next program. I think we are benefiting from the program, right? Yeah, we're having conversations we have not had for a long time or even never had. And from today, I think we'll become even better educators. Now, makosa ni yangu. Makosa ni yangu. Yeah, we're supposed to have a conversation, a very brief conversation about the role of DCI in. How many of you have heard about child trafficking? It's a big thing, right? Yeah, so we want Jacqueline to briefly talk to us and talk with us about what goes on in the safety of children in the hands of the public, you know? Where are our children safe? In whose hands? In whose hands are our children safe? Yeah, so she is in the anti-human trafficking and child protection units in the DCI. So I know she will, watu wa DCI wanajua time, yeah? so I know she will keep time as we briefly have this conversation. Don't worry, we'll have a lot of time in the afternoon for questions, comments, and engagement. So please help me welcome Jacqueline as we have this conversation. Thank you.
I am very sorry I'm the one standing between you and tea break. I am very sorry. Mr. Mehe, sawa. It is not my fault. Blame it on who? Blame it on who? Thank you very much. So my name is, as you've heard, I am Jacqueline Ikua. I am a children officer. I am breaking protocol. Normally, we do not speak after our bosses have spoken. So whoever organized hapo kulikuwa na changamoto. In government, mdosi akiongea tunafunga mkutano na tunaenda nyumbani. So I am coming after Elizabeth and Cosmas, who are my bosses. Yeah, I work at a unit called the DCI HTCP. You only have ever heard of it. Unajua ukiona hata mmoja unajua you're doing something. Yeah. So basically there is a unit of the DCI that handles cases of children, particularly cases of trafficking and online abuse. So I am here to say that we are not only spewing propaganda. Online abuse is existing in our country and children are victims of the same. Sawa sawa. So basically that is what the unit does. We are based in South Sea. How many are familiar with South Sea? Najua, I don't do Mombasa Road. Ukifika to Capital Center, just opposite, there is a DCI training school where the Police Sacco Academy is hosted. Tuko huko ndani. Unaingia tu, you find out what we do. We are not very scary. The name might look scary, Subaru, but we are not scary. We protect children and we are very committed. I serve alongside police officers who are DCI and they are very, very committed to protecting children. So I'm just going to do 10 minutes of the presentation that I had. We have a conversation on victim-centered approaches, trauma-informed care, and interagency collaboration. Elizabeth has already talked about collaboration, so I don't need to talk about that. So as I was preparing for this, I wondered, how many of us understand when we say disclosure when it comes to child abuse? Yeah, just basically a child saying, I have gone through abuse, I've experienced it, or I've witnessed it. You know, children come from homes which are sometimes very volatile. Are we? Tuko pamoja? Yes, so sometimes they're not only experiencing the violence, they're also seeing the violence. So when we talk about disclosure, we are saying sometimes it's intentional, that they will come and tell you, I have gone through this, or sometimes it can even be unintentional. It can be indirect, probably, and if, for example, teacher, if somebody touches you this place, is that bad? You know, those are conversations as teachers we also need to explore. We're saying disclosure can happen immediately. Some abuse happens and a child comes to you and tells you, yesterday this happened. Or it can take years. For example, you're having a conversation and it clicks, oh, that experience I had 5 years ago was abuse. We are not disputing whether it comes immediately or it comes after a period of time. So types of disclosure, we said the direct one. A child is bold enough to come and say, this happened to me. There is the indirect. They go through corners. Hivi. Paka una realize, by the hizi maswali zenye ananiuliza, there is something I need to explore further. There is the third one we call accidental. How many of us have heard of a term called the battered child syndrome? I don't know if it's still used. How many of us have heard of that term? Yeah, so it's a clinical term. So you find a lot of times children go to hospital. Sometimes even it's the parent who's taken them. Alafu mzazi anaulizwa na daktari, hizi wounds, ni za nini? And when the parent or the child is like, oh, probably ni za cut. And you can clearly see these are burn wounds. So that's basically what we are saying, that sometimes even those injuries or wounds, how they are being explained, you're like, hapana, there is something going on in this child's life that I need to explore.
And then lastly, we have the third party disclosure. You know, asking on behalf of a friend, very common. Na iko ndani yako hiyo issue ndio inakukula, lakini you know my friend has gone through this and this and this. So yeah, basically that. So when we say victim-centered, when we talk about children, we say child-centered. We say children are at the core of any intervention that we are making. What does this mean? That any decision I am making with regards to what the child has disclosed to me, one, best interest of this child. I'm considering what is the best interest of this child. Any intervention I am making. And that's a very firm and guiding principle even in our Children Act and even in our Constitution. The second one is on issues of child participation. Children, wamesema hapa, we are smart, we know, we just need to be guided. So we are saying, even our act is very clear. Anytime we are making an intervention, tunaitanga insurmountable wishes of the child. We must take in consideration based on their age, their maturity. Are they aware of what is happening to them? We're making even a decision in terms of custody, who stays with this child. It's important to ask the child, who do you feel more confident or comfortable? Take into account those wishes. And when we talk about child-centered, they're talking about how do we create an environment of safety and protection? How do we ensure also we are not discriminating on any child? All children are treated equally, so that a child knows if I trust teacher so-and-so with my issue, it will be treated with the same weight as if the prefect or the star student trust the same teacher with their issue. So how are we doing ensuring that there is uniform approach as to how we are handling children? And then the issue of confidentiality. I'm so happy the girl here said, people discuss their issues where? I heard about it just yesterday. Like I counsel, I'm a psychologist by training, so I do counseling sessions for children. And the child told me exactly that yesterday. I was like, I do have access to counseling in your school, yes, but there is a view that our counselor says our issues to other teachers. So nobody really goes to that session. So maybe it's a conversation we also need to have as schools. How do you ensure that confidentiality? And how do it's a difficult balance to strike. Issues are counter-transference or transference. I'm teaching this child, and also I'm the one who's handling very deep stuff about them. But there's something probably they are seeing, so I believe MOE needs to have a conversation concerning outsourcing even counseling, particularly to cases that are very grave. And then we have trauma-informed care. What does it mean? Trauma-informed care means that every approach that you are making, you're making with a recognition that trauma is real and it affects people. Those conversations that parents have at when don't go for counseling, and then the Gen Z, when our roll eyes wanasema, and it shows. Yeah. Yeah, so basically we are saying that we need to recognize that trauma is real. We need to find ways to respond to it, and also we need to find a way to stop re-traumatization. Not that conversation the child comes to you and tells you, psychologists say every time a child retells a traumatic incident, it's like they are going back to that situation, not a situation, how it made them feel when they were going through whatever they were going through. It's like they are repeating it over and over again. So we are really working to stop that, particularly even in our criminal justice system, so a child doesn't have to constantly retell their story. Are we together? So when it comes to trauma-informed care, we are guided by 5 principles. One is safety. The first speaker spoke so well about how as schools can we ensure safety, that children know that this is an environment that we can feel physically and emotionally safe, creating the right setting. Number 2 is trustworthiness, ensuring that we have clear expectation. Let this child know, I might have to share this information with somebody else so that tusaidiwe zaidi. The interagency collaboration, ukikaa naye mtoto atasaidika kweli, they need to also get to the justice system so that this child also gets justice. So it's important for this child to know this information we've shared with, as much as I am assuring you of confidentiality, for me to properly support you further, I might have to take you to somebody else who's able to support you further. The third thing we talk about is issues of collaborations, which Madam Elizabeth talked about, empowerment and choice. We always say that a lot of times victims' power of choice has been taken away. Their power has been taken away. They were done for something, they kept on saying no. You know that song, that reggae song? Daddy? Yeah, that song. Every time that child kept saying, usinifanye, usinifanye. So their choice, that power to say no and somebody respects their no, was taken away by that perpetrator. So when you are intervening or making interventions over this child, they're giving them their power back. If they're not comfortable to talk at the very moment, to say push, give them time, because trust is not established instantly. It takes time. It takes time for them to know, I can trust you with this information that I am hiding in my heart. We're also promoting things like peer support. How do you ensure that victims or survivors don't feel like they are walking on that journey alone? Like we can connect them with other survivors who can encourage them and tell them, you know what? That feeling that you're feeling, I also felt it, and this is how I am feeling way later after the healing has happened. And then on issues of respecting diversity, knowing that we're handling children who comes from various backgrounds, both cultural. There are so many issues. So how are we sensitive to those issues? Simemaliza 10 minutes zangu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Caleb, please, because people are hungry, can we release us?
I want to release us, please. Please go for break. There is amazing refreshments out there. There's great coffee, tea. There are snacks. There are vendors who are actually doing an amazing job. If you go out there, you wonder. There are beautiful things. So please feel free as you take your tea, as you say hi to a friend, a new friend. Yes? Yes. If the kids could actually go first, yeah? If the kids could actually go first, would really be great so that we don't have a stampede. Nyinyi ni umati wa watu. Yeah, nyinyi ni umati wa watu. If we could have the kids, please go out for tea. The partners, yeah, the partners, the panelists, if they could just go, and then we start with them, and then we go out in bits. Yeah, that will really be good to do. So the kids, followed by the panelists, those who have just spoken. Yeah, so those from State Department, Elizabeth, and yes, and Cosmas, right? Yeah, so they could just proceed. Jacqueline, we could just go out for tea, and then the rest of us could just follow Pole Pole, and then we have tea for 20 minutes. It is 11, kulingana kopo langu la saa, 11:15. So by 11:35, we should be back here for another beautiful session. So have fun, and see you in 20.